In the very holy, charming and extremely sacred Nimesa forest, a great sacrifice lasting for 12 years was performed by the sages. The forest abounded in flowers of diverse kinds and trees such as Sala, Carnicora, Panasa, Dava, Kadira, Amra, Jambu, Kapitha, Nyagroda, Devadaru, Asvatha, Parihata, Kandana, Arjuna, Kampaka and others. Many kinds of birds and beasts lived there. It abounded in Aguru, Patala, Bacula, Saptaparna, Panaga, Nagakesara, Sala, Tamala, Narakila and Arjuna. It was beautified by many trees, Kampaka and others embellished by variety of water reservoirs such as pools and holy lakes. It abounded in people of various castes, Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Sudras, people of all stages of life, students, householders, forest dwellers and ascetics. It was richly endowed with birds of various sorts, cows and cattle, wealth and storage of barley, wheat, chickpeas, pulses, beans, sesamum and sugarcane and other plants. It was adorned by stalks of paddy and other fresh vegetables. There in that forest the bright, sacred fire was kindled and the sages performed a sacrifice extending for 12 years. Thus the sages and other Brahmins congregated there. The Brahmin guests were suitably welcomed and honored by the hosts along with the duly seated priests. In the meanwhile there arrived Lomaharsana, the intelligent Suta. On seeing him the excellent sages were extremely delighted and they honored him in a fitting manner. He too made obeisance to them and occupied a respectable seat. The Brahmins conversed with Suta for some time. At the end of preliminary conversation, the sponsors of the sacrifice accompanied by the priests and other honored guests who had congregated there wanted to clear their doubts by means of questions put to him. The sages said, "O excellent one, you are well versed in Puranas, Agamas and other holy texts together with traditional tales. You are aware of the origin and exploits of Devas and deities. There is nothing unknown to you in the Vedas, scriptures, Bharata, Purana and treatises on salvation. O highly intelligent one, you are omniscient. Suta, we desire to know how this entire visible world consisting of the mobile and immobile beings originated at the outset, along with Devas, Asuras, Gandharvas, Yaksas, Raksasas and Serpents. Where did it get merged? Where will it get dissolved?" Lomaharsana said, "Obeisance to Visnu, the universal soul who is immutable, mysterious, of unchanging form and all-conquering. Obeisance to Hiranyagarbha, Hari and Sankara, Vasudeva the protector who is the agent of creation, sustenance and destruction. Obeisance to Visnu who has unitary and manifold forms. Obeisance to the deity who is gross as well as subtle. Obeisance to Visnu who becomes manifest and unmanifest and who is the cause of liberation. Obeisance to Visnu the Supreme Soul who is at the root of creation, maintenance and destruction of the universe and who is identical with the universe. I bow unto Acyuta, Purusottama who is the support of this great as well as small world, the macrocosm and microcosm. He is factually devoid of impurity. He has the form of perfect knowledge. He is stationed in the form of this visual world in our illusionary vision. I bow to Visnu who consumes the universe, who is the Lord of creation and sustenance, who is omniscient, Lord of the universe. The birthless and deathless, immutable, and the primordial, subtle overlord of the universe. I bow to Brahma and others. I bow to my Lord Preceptor, the son of Parasara and the knower of the essence of the import of all Sastras and the Puranas. He is the master of the Vedas and Vedangas. After bowing down to my Lord Preceptor I shall recount the Purana which is on a par with the Vedas. I shall mention in the same manner as was mentioned by the lotus-born Lord Brahma formerly on being asked by Daksa and other excellent sages. Listen to the wonderful story that I narrate to you now and which is pregnant with meaning. It provides with auxiliary to those mentioned in the Vedas. I shall tell you the story that liberates people from sins. He who listens to this story frequently, he who perpetually retains this in memory shall perpetuate his family and be honored in the heavenly region. Pradana is the eternal unmanifest cause which is of the nature of Sat, existent, and Asat, non-existent. Purusa, the Lord, evolved the universe out of it. O excellent sages, know that he is Brahma of unmeasured refulgence. He is the creator of all living beings. He is Narayana, the greatest being. Cosmic ego, Ahamkara, was born of Mahat, great principle from Mahat. Buddhas, elements, were born. Varieties of living beings were born of the elements. Thus is the eternal creation. It is being glorified with details of all aspects in accordance with my intelligence and in the manner I have heard. Now listen to it. It shall enhance the reputation of all of you. The glory of persons who had performed meritorious deeds and whose renown is permanent is proclaimed herein. The self-born Lord who was desirous of creating varieties of subjects from the unmanifest pradana created waters alone at the outset. He instilled vigor in them. The waters are called Naras, born of Nara, man. Waters are the progeny of Nara. At the outset, they were his place of resort. Hence he is remembered as Narayana. A gold-wombed egg took shape and floated on the waters. Brahma himself was born there. We have heard that he is self-born. The gold-colored Lord stayed there for a year and then split the egg into two, heaven and earth. In the middle of these two halves the Lord created firmament. He held the earth floating on the waters. He created 10 quarters, as well as mind, speech, love, anger and pleasure. Desirous of evolving creation befitting these, he created Prajapatis, lords of subjects. Such as Marisai, Atri, Angiras, Pulasatya, Pulaha, Kratu and Vasista. Thus the Lord of great refulgence created 7 mental sons. In the Puranas these are known as the 7 Brahmas. Subsequent to the 7 sons of Brahma who were identical with Narayana, Brahma created Rudra out of his fury. He created the divine Lord Sanakumara who was the eldest of all his previous sons. O Brahmins, the subjects and Rudras were born of these 7. Skanda and Sanakumara stayed there condensing their brilliance. 7 great families of divine nature comprising the groups of Devas were born of 7 Brahmas. They had progeny and they performed holy rites. The families were adorned by great sages. Brahma created lightning, thunder, clouds, saffron-colored rainbows, birds and Parjanya, Lord of clouds, at the outset. He composed riks, yajus and saman for conducting sacrifices. We have heard that he created Sathyas and other Devas. Living beings high and low were born of his limbs. Even when Prajapati had created such an extensive horde of progeny, the created subjects did not multiply. Then he split his body into 2 halves. One half became a man and the other half a woman. The man begot of the woman different kinds of subjects. With his grandeur he pervaded heaven and earth and stored by Visnu created Virat, an immense being, and Virat created Purusa. Know that Manu was that Purusa. The Manvantara, the ruling period of Manu, is the second one of Manu, the mental son of Brahma. That Vairaja, son of Virat, Purusa, lord of creation of the subjects, was the Lord who created. The subjects created during Narayana's creation as well as Manu's were not born of the womb. On hearing this account of creation at the outset, a man becomes long-lived, well-renowned and blessed with progeny. He will obtain his desired goal. Apava, that Purusa and Prajapati, was desirous of creating subjects. He obtained Satarupa, an Ayanija lady as his wife. With his grandeur, Apava pervaded heaven and stood by. Then, O excellent sages, Satarupa was delivered of her progeny righteously. She performed a severe penance for 10,000 years and obtained as her husband that Purusa of bright penance. O Brahmins, that Purusa is called Svayambhuva Manu, Manu born of the self-born Lord. His Manvantara consisted of 71 cycles of yugas. Satarupa bore to Vairaja Purusa the heroic sons Priyavrata and Atanapada. After the heroic sons, a daughter, Kamya was born. O excellent sages, Kamya was the wife of Kardama Prajapati. The sons of Kamya were 4 such as Samrat, Kuksi, Virat and Prabhu. Prajapati Atri adopted Atanapada as his son. Sunita bore 4 sons to Atanapada. The charming daughter of Dharma is known as Sunita. She was born as a result of horse sacrifice. She was the illustrious mother of Dhruva. Prajapati Atanapada begot 4 sons of Sunita such as Dhruva, Kirtaman, Ayasman and Vasu. O Brahmins, the highly blessed Dhruva, seeking very great fame, performed penance for 3,000 divine years. Prajapati Brahma being delighted gave him a stable abode, on par with his own in front of 7 sages. On observing his prestige and greatness flourishing, formerly Usanas the preceptor of Devas and Asuras sang this verse, "Wonderful is the power of his penance. Wonderful is his learning. Wonderful indeed is Dhruva whom the 7 sages have kept ahead of themselves." Sambhu bore to Dhruva 2 sons, such as Slisti and Bhavya. Sakaya bore 5 noble sons to Slisti. They were Ripu, Puranjaya, Putra, Virkala and Virkatejas. Bradi bore to Ripu the son Kiksusa who had an all-round splendor. He begot Kiksusa Manu of Puskarini, Birini the daughter of Aranya the Prajapati of great soul. O leading sages, 10 sons of great prowess were born to Manu and Nadvala the daughter of Prajapati Vairaja. The first 9 were Kutsa, Puru, Satadayamna, Tapasvin, Satyavak, Kavi, Agnistub, Adaratra and Satyamna. The 10th was Abhimanyu. These sons of great prowess were born of Nadvala.